the broadening of the way single player has worked in regards to developing your character and having all these hybrid systems and open access to how you build them up has really led, like, not even led, but bled into the MMO system, as well as other forms of online gaming. I think a lot of FPSs have particularly started to move away from character classes and opening things up.
Yeah, well, this is what I mean. It's kind of like, well, it is a good thing. I think it's a good thing, you know, to be able to have that choice, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if you've got the ability to think, oh, well, maybe one certain part of the game is better if you use magic or something like that, having the ability to, you know, adapt to that is really good, you know what I mean? Because having one set of playthrough, yeah, it's good. Yeah.
See, that's the thing, because as you said, it's about adaptability. And I would say in a single player, that's good, because it's you.
Yeah.
You're the only
Single
one there.
player,
You need to be able to adapt to it. But the second you get multiple players, you should be adapting in accordance with the strengths or weaknesses of your partner.
Well, yeah, and that's what I like about it. You know what I mean? It's like little things, like little tiny things. It's like if, like, me and Trep are going through a cave, right? And I'd be like, right, get behind me because I got a shield. So if anything shoots out, you hit the shield first. You know what I mean? So having everyone having a role gives everyone a good, how can I explain it? A good experience in the game, and a role. Giving everyone a role gives everyone a role to play. You get what I mean? So they know what they role is.
What you're getting at, if I can guess, is I would say you're getting at the idea of teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
you know
you're building
teamwork. Yeah,
you're building exactly. Camaraderie. You're building a relation based around, okay, I know you've got my back, and I can get yours, sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, right then, you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Let's go in there. We all know what we're doing. No one's feeling left out. Everyone got a role. Do you get what I mean? And they're thinking everyone feels like they're contributing to that specific environment or that specific thing that's happening. You know, if you're fighting a boss, right, then you know your role's magic, so you shoot the hell out of him, keep him busy, and you know what I mean? I'll go in and smash the hell out of him as best I can. You watch me out for healing, and then once you heal me, you run in as well and, you know, give him a jab as well. Do you know what I mean?
I always feel sorry for the healers. Once you're done healing me, go and attack them. Wait, what? Shouldn't they stand back and just, like, making sure everything's going cool?
Yeah. No, you just keep him busy. I'll do the... Yeah. So I think it's kind of like, you know, gives everyone a part to play, doesn't it? You know, because, you know, some people are a lot better at the game than others, and, you know, when it comes to playing games, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, I like the competition, you know, but it's kind of, you got to be fair, haven't you? You know, we got raided by this other player, right? Now Trepper now was said, no, you got to fight them on your own. I'm not helping you. And I was like, oh, why?
That's what you do.
He said, he bowed, he's been respectful. So me and him, I lost. But me and this guy, we had a good old battle. You know what I mean? We was there for about 10-15 minutes, you know, battling.
Running around in circles waiting to get each other's back.
Yeah. and then Trevor was just up on the rock, just filming it. And I was like, fair play, you know. But yeah. It was funny, but everyone gets a role.
That is something I do like about, like, the Dark Souls community in general. In every game I played, every Soulsborne there is, if there's ever been any, like, invasion style mechanic in it, you get a few douchebags who will jump out and just try and smash you. But the majority of the time, no, they walk up, they say hello, they praise the sun, then they bow, and then you bow, and then you fight. And it's like... It's so weird to come into that mechanic when you've been, like, so used to other online games where everything's an instant fight. It's just PvP 24/7. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
We're bowing?
Well, that's it. Yeah, this is what I mean. It's kind of that mutual respect, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, you know, I like that, I do. I like that, you know what I mean? It kind of takes away takes away the bitterness then of losing. You know what I mean? As where if someone's been a complete tit, and you know what I mean, it's just like kind of there to sort of ruin your game.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of the old Guns the Jewel game. Because that was the same thing. You'd go onto these big PvP matches, and people would like type in the chat section like, okay, I'm gonna go to the. They had points in it, so you'd be like, I'm gonna go point A, I'm gonna go to the cliff by the sea, I'm gonna go to whatever the place is called. And you'd be like, cool, I'll fight you. And then everyone would just gather around and you just watch them.
Yeah.
And that was like half the match was just watching other people fight because it was really cool.
Yeah, well that's it, and it's kind of like that, and that's what I like. You know what I mean? I've had a few incidences on it where, you know, it's kind of like we're in a bit of a situation, so it's kind of like camaraderie's out the window then. It's like, just get rid of him. You know, it's more of a pain than it is a bloody, you know, so we're in a bit of a situation where we're just coming up towards a boss, so it's always at the most inconvenient bloody times as well.
Yeah,
you know
that,
what I mean?
that did annoy me, and a few times I've just run through like into the boss room because it gets rid of them instantly. I just be like, sorry mate, bye. Just go on.
I got
like,
things
I'm not
to do,
messing
you know
around
what I
here.
mean? So, but other than that, it's like, you know.
But too, what I do find interesting though, because all of the Soulsborns, if memory serves, FromSoft is a Japanese company.
Yeah.
Guns the Jewel comes from Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at other Korean MMOs, I can't think of any that have, like, they have hybrid classes, but you pick a class at the start. If you start as a rogue, you finish as a rogue. You start as a magic user, you finish as a magic user. You can't go from becoming a witch to suddenly becoming a paladin. Like, that just, it doesn't work in those games.
Yeah.
So I find it interesting that it's a lot of these Asian games coming out that kind of still respect the old ways. They still have character classes, but they really do promote and reinforce this idea of like honorable combat, engaging in actual teamwork. Everyone comes together. People are using the chat, they're talking. I can't remember outside of a few of like the later level, later level raids in World of Warcraft. I can't remember seeing that in any form of online Western game.
Well, that's the thing. See, I think, you know what I mean, a lot of people do prefer the old ways, you know what I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I can't think of any. I've been looking for games, obviously to start now after Elden Ring. I got a few in mind. Not too sure what to pick yet, because I mean, Elden Ring ain't going to be finished anytime soon anyway, but I want to do my best to get as far as I can, because it's an enjoyable game. But I've been looking at like a majority of like online games, MMO games, and like I've been watching YouTube videos on them, trying to figure out if it suits me, but nothing rings a bell where it's kind of like, well, a lot of them are kind of like turning into survival as well, you know. It's kind of like, you know,
it's
you start with nothing
stuff.
Solo survival kind of way going now forward is I
was thinking, actually, I do say a lie. The Battlefield games, at least they used to, you wouldn't see a huge amount in chat, and it's very unlikely you'd get on like microphones or anything unless you knew the people. But you would see like, we need a medic, we need anti-tank, the enemy has artillery, I'm hitting this point, and you could use also like the hotkeys to say like, let's hit this point, spawn on me, I'm going in. Like, there was still teamwork in that, and that was it used to be very heavy class-based game.
Well, it's a very fast-paced game as well, isn't it? So the thing is, see, I
mean, it's not
for me.
Well, I'm just thinking,
you know
like,
what I mean?
it's not as fast as like Call of Duty, which is very twitchy, but yeah, I guess it is a lot faster.
Yeah,
than, like,
it's kind of a lot going on. It's kind of a lot going on then, so to speak. You know what I mean? So, be able to make like, all right, let's do this, let's do that. You know what I mean? Like I say, if you want to like be a team in there, you could all have a role, I suppose, and you could turn around and say, right, let's go around this way. all stick together, one stick back, and this and that. You know what I mean? But as soon as one or two, and you get taken out so quick on there, unless you're a
It was
actual
more the
pro.
well, no, as I was saying, is it was more the roles because you'd have a medic,
Oh, they
you'd
got roles in
have
there, yeah.
your who had the weapon? I think they're just called support. They would give ammunition to people. You'd have your assault on front. And assault had they had more armor. They basically could take more of a hit. So they go up front, but you'd all be using cover and you'd all be falling in. And it was the reason I always played as medic is no team was like gonna say no to a medic. Everyone wanted a medic because they were that useful. Second you get dropped, come and bring them up. And it reinforced that work together, play well. Whereas now, the newest Battlefield, the one that has completely failed, even the developers have said it was a disappointment, abolished it. And as soon as they abolished classes, I think that's the reason why it failed, because the camaraderie disappeared.
Well, everyone, you see what I mean? It's like, tell you what's a really, really good game for that. Just popped to my mind now when I used to play with just random people online, but you'd all have a role, is Ghost Recon Online, Wildlands Online.
Oh, I thought you meant the actual, like, because they had one like Ghost Recon, I think it was called Ghost Recon Ghosts.
Ghost Recon Ghosts, yeah, and then you'd online there, you'd have a support, you'd have a sniper, you'd have a rifleman. You mean once one person takes that initial role, then the class is gone.
Yeah, sorry, it was Phantoms, but yeah, you used to be like, you actually had separate roles and everyone set up in the team.
So you'd have, like, say, a guy in the back with a support with a drone. The first thing he would do is throw his drone in the air, right? And then you start picking out the targets. Then you would say, and right then a sniper would get to a certain point, okay? And then you talk then, right then, the sniper be enemy's coming down, pin him down, I'll take him out. And that's the kind of the roles. It was quite like if you had a really good, strong base team on it, like say a couple of friends, because it was only 4 players on each side anyway. I think that'd be a really fantastic game to have some real good communications and some real, because it was very realistic as well. One shot, one kill. I mean, you got shot in the head of the sniper, you down. But then you would have someone there. Anyone could revive anyone. But, you know, you would have those supporting roles. You'd have maybe a sniper then. You'd have a sniper. You'd have a support role then with a light machine gun, which would basically, you know, find the enemy. And then you'd have a frontline rifleman then. And then you'd have like kind of like a mid to range rifleman then, where you'd, you know, you could have a decent fire in. So yeah, it was really fun. I used to play on that all the time, man. Used to love it like that. But that was really
Come on,
good.
You're saying you're playing it all the time. Were you playing with random people or was that with friends?
Mostly with random people, but
Well, that's rare.
yeah, random people, but we all had that role. Do you know what I mean? If someone got pinned down, you get shouted at like, take him out, take him out. Like, I can't bloody see him. Do you know what I mean? You'd all have those roles, and you'd kind of get out. When you play on it for a certain amount of time as well, the names start ringing a bell, and you start seeing the same names over and over again, and then you start, you know, making teams then and saying, oh yeah, do you want to join our team? Do you want to join our team? Do you want to join our team? You know what I mean? And then, you'd start, like, you know, friending each other on PSN, you know what I mean? And then, you know, be jumping in the teams and that with them. And then it was a really good game, you know. It was fun. It was interactive. You know, really good.
This is what I mean by the whole sort of when you have those distinct classes, it's bringing people together. Like I genuinely see them as a very positive thing for any kind of online game, because I'm willing to bet you got to know people based on what they did.
Yeah, well, like I used to say to them when they say, "Oh, what are you good at? What are you good at?" I mean, well, I'm not good at frontline. I said because I'm really slow at drawing a weapon, and you know what I mean. I just panic, and I'll always get killed. They'll say, "Well, what are you good at then?" Well, I'm just good at hiding in a bush and shooting from afar. So I got really, really good at the sniping on it. You know what I mean? I could shoot. You know, I think I got it on my PSV video. I recorded it. I think I shot someone from a mile at 1.7 miles.
Nice.
1.7 mile, my longest one. I'll have to get it up. I'll have to see if I can get it off there. So I become, you know, that become my
you
role.
became the sniper. Like, they knew you as the sniper, and you knew them as, okay, this is the point man. This is the I suppose you don't really have medics, but you have like, this is the support person. They will come round and heal me if needed. Yeah.
And you'd start to kind of fashion yourself into that role. Then you find out all the good spots. You know what I mean? And then you kind of like, then, well, where you going? Right, I'm going up there. Well, I'll follow you up then, just in case you get caught up. You know what I mean? I'll be around by you. Right, in which way you going? Right, I'll be going down there. Right, there, it's going across open ground. Keep an eye out. So I'll be looking over it. You know what I mean? I'd have a supporting guy then around there with a drone. You know what I mean? Make sure no one's coming around. And then we'd start pushing then and pushing and pushing. And then, you know, we'd win some, we'd lose some, you know.
This is the nutty thing fun to me, right? So you said there, you're working together and you're enjoying this and you're learning it. You're pushing yourself to be better at it. It's literally an incentive to play the game more. Like, you would have needed to keep playing. You need to keep learning. You need to go outside of the game, start learning some more about it, thinking about it at the bare minimum. So when you come back in and you're meeting these people, there's pressure to like do good, but it's like a positive pressure. Like, you want to be doing good because you want to do good for them. You're your comrades.
One of the most satisfying things on there, though, as a sniper, right, is taking out the enemy sniper.
Yeah, the 1v1.
The 1v1, and you can see him right over there, and you've spotted him, but he hasn't spotted you. And you know if you bloody miss, he's going to give your position away. So you got to make sure you hit that spot. So I'd be like, then right there, I've spotted the enemy sniper. Okay, he's up on the so-and-so. No phoretics, like a little compass up on the top. Right, he can see you all. Stay where you are till I take him out. Okay, stay where you are. You'd have the support guy then up. So then what would happen then? You'd have the guy in, set the drone up. And then some snipers would do it, some wouldn't. But they would shoot the drone, right?
Yeah.
But there's a fatal flaw in that, because once they shoot the drone, they give away the muzzle flash, and you can aim then from the muzzle flash upwards. That's all I learned to do. Look, so then I'd aim in up, and then bang, straight in the head, and I'd be like, enemy sniper taken out, move forward. And they'd be like, great job. I'd be like, yeah, that's my job done now.
And there's the next part. That's my job done.
Yeah, right. I've done. You know, even if we lose now, I've done my job. I took out the enemy sniper. You know what I mean?
That is a bit that like we shouldn't really be broadcasting to teammates, but it is sort of like, like, dudes, you lost because of you. Now I did my thing. Yeah. Where was you? What were you bringing to this team?
You know what I mean? I shot him from a mile away. You know what I mean? Straight in the bounce. You know what I mean? So it's your job now. So then I'd just be up on the, you know, obviously I'd move then. That's one thing I've always done, is learn to move. I'd always have a second position to go to. I'd always
one
pick
fire,
my position.
then you shift.
Yeah, always shift when after the fire, because your muzzle flash, it does give you away. And depending on what kind of map you're on as well, whether you use scope, because the scope as well, when you aim on that game, the reflection of the smoke gives you away as well. So you've got to be so bloody careful. That's why it's always good to before you take the shot, to make sure you're gonna hit him. So it's kind of like that pressure. Do you know what I mean? Of like, well, even if you see people running around like headless chickens, you're not going to take a shot, because you know you're not going to hit that shot. So you're just giving them the positions then. So you're kind of working as a lookout as well as a thing. So as soon as you see someone duck behind, then both right, got him, bang. Right, he's taken out. You know what I mean? Or you could point out, right, you take him out. He's just around the corner. You know, this and that. So that was a really fun experience for me when I used to play on that. Kind of want to go back on it now I'm talking about it. Really fun experience. What was your fun experiences then?
I have not played any form of online multiplayer in years. I think the last one I did was probably Black Desert, but...
Yeah, I've been looking at Black Desert, but it kind of seems to be losing a bit of traction now, yeah.
You know. Even when I was playing it not at the height, but towards the end of it. And it didn't really bother me. I mostly play MMOs on my own these days. I just kind of team up for raids and stuff. But how can I put it? If you're willing to sink the hours in, there is a lot of fun, particularly in the node system. I really enjoyed that. But it was one of those I realized, like, right, in order to get the nodes to work properly, I can't really be spending too much time leveling up because I just don't have time to do it. And then if you're working on leveling up, you don't have time for the node. So it's, yeah, I just kind of dropped out when I realized the time investment was just too high.
Well, that's it, and it is. You know what I mean? In a lot of these games, you've got to invest a lot of time into them, and you know what I mean? I couldn't believe it. Like, for instance, when, like since I've got bit, like more into Elden Ring now, you know, people are like a couple of days after we're on level. How you know what I mean? How you on level 700 and you know highest level already? You know what I mean? Even if you were on it 24 hours a day, how? Do you know what I mean? It just like physically don't make sense to me. You know what I mean? You must be not eating. You must be not sleeping. You must be, you know what I mean? You must be just like in a box, like, you know. Because I just don't get it. Is because granted you play on it. Well, say if you play on it 12 hours a day, I suppose, and you got a good understanding of the game, I suppose you could go quite far, like, you know. But when it comes to me, you know what I mean? A good 4 hours a week. Something like that is all I can manage at the moment, is, you know. But I suppose responsibilities then kick in, don't they? You know what I mean? Sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't, or something always pops up, don't they? You know what I mean? So sometimes you don't, you know, and sometimes you just can't be bothered, you know.
I do think that is the death of like 90% of MMOs, and to be honest, most open world and RPGs. It was that whole what was it, Dead by Daylight? Dead by Daylight 2 had this, like, there's something stupid. It's like 700 hours or something. I'm gonna misquote that because I cannot remember the number, but it was a ludicrous number, and everyone was just like, I don't want to play a game that long. That's too freaking long.
Well, yeah, it's kind of, how can I explain it? With certain games, I suppose you could put in the hours because there's so much to, you know, explore. But what I found from in the past game is if you play a game all the time, on and off, all the blimmin' time, it gets tedious, it gets boring. You know what I mean? What I like about, you know what I mean, playing them now and again, say once a week, twice a week, is it keeps the excitement there, you know what I mean? That boredom is not, oh, I've had enough of this, playing this game now, you know what I mean? Or for instance, this and that, you know, it's the same with some of the games I play on my channel now, like Total War and stuff like that. But it comes to a certain part in a campaign and it loses its challenge, it's kind of like you want to start fresh, you know? It's kind of like when you're rolling over the enemies, you know what I mean? And there's no challenge there no more, you know what I mean? You've beat the game. It's kind of, that's all you're doing now is just, you know, it's just making your kingdom bigger, for an example, and it just takes a challenge out then. Do you know what I mean? So I think a lot of
that is more due to difficulty for Total War, because I think if you play it on normal, you do get to the point where you're kind of, you know, stupidly overpowered. You're never going to lose, but it's at that point you're not quite sick of it yet. It's still fairly fresh into the game. Whereas if you're playing on, honestly, I would say very hard up. No, you've been playing that for ages, and at that point you're just like, right, I'm done, but I'm not really done, so I want to finish this, but I really can't be bothered.
Yeah, I get what you mean, yeah. But I suppose with Total War as well, the series, what is the AI as well, I think makes that a bit rubbish to a degree. Obviously I don't think Total War's rubbish. I love the games, but what I mean is like sometimes in the game the AI is crap. Yeah, it's crap, man. I just don't understand. It's like when I was starting Empire, etc., this and that, and you know, you got I started one as the United Kingdom, and I can remember thinking, you know, right, let's take France now. And I sent a spy over, have a look into the you know, into the territory, like into the French territory, and they got no massive armies there, like. And I'm thinking, come on, like, and this is on the highest difficulty. I'm thinking, you know what I mean? You're bloody loaded. Where's your armies I got to defeat to take your capital? You know what I mean? Give me a challenge. You know what I mean? It's kind of, it bugs me, man.
The exact same thing happened on stream where I was just like, I can't believe we're getting this far into the, I think it was the Etruscans, and then like moved it was actually a dignitary rather than a spy, moved an agent around and was sort of like, oh, this is entirely undefended. They have one army coming down, but I'm about to beat them up. Wow.
You mean this is what I mean? And you got massive kingdoms, you know, superpowers of the age, and they're fielding, you know, half a stacks. You know what I mean? And here and there, and I'm thinking, you know what I mean? Where's, you know, they should be having main armies, one powerful army, which you know. And that's what kind of bugs me about the game. I've started Rome 2 again now, and I was looking for better AI mod, but I couldn't really find one that suited it kind of better, because that's one thing I was worried about going into the game, is because even on like say the only Total War game I find difficult on legendary difficulty is Warhammer, and that's only with certain factions. And the reason why that is, I think, is because of the unit diversity on there. There's so much unit diversity, you kind of, you know, it's no point in you running into a battle with an army of great swords, even though great swords are rubbish, against, it's just using an example, against monsters, you know what I mean? Because you need Pacific units, anti-large specs, all this and all that to defeat those units. So it's a lot of how can I explain it? It's a lot of,
it brings us back to the class specific.
Yeah,
you know, this isn't just applied to the individual player. This also applies to any form of RTS or even party-based games.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Total War is a great example on a grand scale, but even if you bring that down to smaller scale, Fire Emblem, 9 times out of 10, you'll specialize individual characters into specific roles.
Well, yeah, and I think that's a good. It's always a good thing, because everything got its own. It's not confusing then, is it? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, I know what this does, I know what that does, I know what this does, I know what that does. You know what I mean? Now I can't wait for. If I say that, I mean, but Immortal Empire used to come out, like, you know what I mean? I'm hoping that won't be a big bloody flop either. You know, but I've lost my train of thought now.
I don't think it can be a flop, if I'm being absolutely honest.
Yeah.
I think you'll have people who are disappointed, but for me, the issues I would say now the issues I really have with Warhammer 3 just come down to get rid of the campaign. Just get rid of the chaos
mechanic, the chaos. Yeah,
I think that's what's killed it.
So, yeah, it's.
I mean, the cavalry thing, pretty much sorted now. Single entity thing, pretty much sorted now. Collisions, still a bit dicey, but you know, they fixed that before. I trust they'll fix it again. But the actual game, the actual way it plays, if everything else worked perfectly, that game would still suck.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like when I played with Cathay on there, I actually really enjoyed playing the Zen.
But did you enjoy doing the riffs?
No, I didn't. That's what spoiled it. Because the thing is, see, right, I was trying to get up to the wall to try and, you know, make my land lush and green again. And you know what I mean? It, you know, because when the chaos comes in, it all starts going all bloody black and fiery. And I thinking, nope, I want my green land lush. You know what I mean? And I couldn't push forward, because every time I was getting into position to push forward, either I'd have holes of chaos coming through, and I'd be like spending one turn trying to fight 7 battles, one after another, until my army's completely gone. I've won the 7 battles, but you know what I mean? I'm left with nothing, and then it's time then to rebuild and move back up forward, and then bloody hell, the rifts are there now, and I'm thinking, oh my god, I gotta pull back now to defend from the rifts. It was absolute. It just wound me up, man. I was just thinking, you're not letting me play the game the way I want to play it. You mean you're taking that away from me, and that's what really peed me off.
This is the reason I hate the race. People keep saying the race, and originally I was with them, but it actually breaks the sandbox.
It does. It takes
it's
the
no
ability
longer
to play
a sandbox game. You're playing an actual campaign. It's just unfortunate the campaign sucks on top of that.
Yeah.
I'm never going to stop saying that, man. Just get It's a
No, well,
freaking
no,
race.
it's not. You know what I mean?
That's
Too
why it's
many
the top
rifts.
downloaded mod.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's just, so I'm not gonna bother with that. But you know what I mean? I do love Warhammer. The Warhammer games, I've always loved them. You know what I mean? I love the diversity in them. I love that fantasy base. It's always nice to go back and forth into historical. I'm enjoying the historical
No, but
facts.
this brings up, as you said, the diversity. I'm going to stick with this because
Diversity,
this is what this is all about. It's about having the diversity in any game, forcing you to synergize, to bring units together, to bring players together to work in specific roles. It's not just the fun of actually playing that. There's also a fun of planning it. I mean, as a strategy gamer, that's a huge part of how you go about the game, is deciding how to build your forces. And then you add to that the actual combat mechanics when you're getting into more of the action-based stuff, how to best take advantage of them. It requires planning, it requires strategy, it requires good micromanagement, so you're bringing in core game skills as well as actual thought skills, and then applying that to multiplayer. You're now bringing that into more of a teamwork base, as we said, with pressure of wanting to help your team to be good enough to show that, you know, I've got your back.
Yeah.
I can't see why more and more games are moving towards this any character can do anything system, because then at that point,
I get what you mean, yeah.
why bother?
Well, I don't know. That's something I can't answer, but just, do you know what I mean? Is like I know, like, how can I explain it? It's nice for everyone to have a role, but I suppose it's also nice as well. It's good for solo playing then. Okay, because the ability to, you know, adapt to your environment, that's good, okay? But you don't want, when it comes to co-op playing then, you don't want to be taking someone else's fire from them, do you? You know what I mean?
What do you mean by taking someone else's fire?
Well, like thunder then, the old word thunder, yeah? Or as a magic, you know what I mean? Pun intended, yeah? But, you do you get what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, well, I'm Joe, you don't want to be, you know, because if someone comes in as a magician and you are a magician as well, and you say, right, in your role, but you're doing his role for him, and you know what I mean? You're kind of like, you know, pushing him aside, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, well, you
There's
know,
too many rabbits coming out of them hats.
It's too many, yeah, it's too much stuff going on, you know what I mean? It can cause stupid arguments. You know what gameplay's like, you know what I mean? When people, you know how frustrated you can get with games, especially Elden Rings. Oh my God, I've been frustrated with that game sometimes. I bang my head against a bloody table, man. And like, you know what I mean, me and Trepo try to make it fun. We have a laugh and a joke on it, but sometimes, man, it just weighs the crap out. It's just like, in the end, all the fun is gone, and me and him are just like, right, what should we do? How are we gonna be? You know what I mean? And then it comes down to, right, okay, but like, you know what I mean? But that ability, but there is kind of like, Peppo knows what he's doing. I know what I'm doing. Causa comes on as well now and again. He knows what he's doing. I mean, we've all got our role, and then as soon as we get through that veil, you know, through that mist, you know what I mean? Boosh, you know what I mean? I'm running straight towards him. He's shooting him with magic, you know what I mean? Causa's trying to flank around it and from behind. Everyone's got their role, and you know what I mean? Everyone feels a part of the win then. You know what I mean? When you actually
I think that is a big part of it. When you're working as a team, when you're working to help each other rather than just gain the victory, regardless of what you actually did, it doesn't matter if even if you got knocked out at the end, you still feel accomplished for having taken part in it.
You've done it all. All of you have helped to win that. You know what I mean? Even if you've only managed to get 2 or 3 strikes on him. You know what I mean? He's hit you around a bit. You know what I mean? Those 2 or 3 strikes could have been the difference between, you know, losing the battle altogether or winning the battle. And I think when it comes
it's also,
to,
you know, like you've dragged the attention. You've managed to preoccupy them, allowing your friends to get into a better position or to heal up to come back in. It's like it's an all-round good thing.
Yeah, well, it's been plenty of times
games, people.
Yeah, it's good. It's been loads of times with Travis like, help me. I'm just run. I'll hit him now. Just run, and I'm hitting. I've taken his attention, and he's turned to me. And you know what I mean? He's run off, managed to heal, and he's like, right now you run. And then, you know what I mean? He'll hit him, and then he'll turn around, and you know what I mean? It's all that teamwork, you know what I mean? And sometimes it goes really well. And then sometimes, you know, it goes bad, not because of the way you're playing. It's just sometimes it's just you get a lucky strike and bang, you're gone. Like, you know. But I think teamwork in a game is one of the best experiences I've had. I mean, I love working with people in games, and I mean, I love having that ability to have a role with one another. You know what I mean? Because I'm that type of person. I don't like anyone feeling left out, or, you know what I mean? As long as you're a part of the team, you're there on the field or whatever field of battle, you've contributed to the victory, regardless of how little or of how much you put in. It doesn't matter. It's a team victory. It's not an individual victory, you know? So they need to bring some more of that out, I think. Yeah. You know, I can remember Desert Storm. Can you remember Desert Storm?
Conflict series.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Where you'd move the one and then you'd have move the other. You could control the whole 4 of them if you wanted.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's actually a great example of literally the multiplayer. Because if you do it on co-op, you get 2 each, don't you?
Yeah, 2 each.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? 2 each.
It's bringing now the multiplayer system into a single player because, as you said, you're controlling each soldier one by one, getting them all in the right position. All of their classes are very, very tailored. Even their equipment, like not just the weapons,
everything.
their actual equipment was all different.
They all got different things. Yeah.
But then even when you're going into co-op, it just goes, okay, you get 2, you get 2.
Yeah.
Although I can remember being annoyed. I don't know if number 2 had it, but I swear you couldn't select which 2 you got.
I cannot remember, to be honest. I can remember the gameplay. I can remember the game. I can't. Though this was a long time ago. I'm talking like bloody hell, only.
It's early 2000s, I think.
Yeah, only 15 years ago, maybe longer. Like, you know. That's just a long. But stuff like that have stuck in my mind for all these years because of the interaction I've had with that and the fun I've had with the gameplay itself. And Elden Rings will do the same. You know, it'll stick in my memory. You know what I mean? And it's given me a good experience in teamwork, and I'm just having fun. You know what I mean? I think people can take it a bit too serious sometimes, and I think once it's good to take games seriously, especially if, you know what I mean, depending on, you know, what kind of person you are.
I think if you're competitive, as in like in a competition, you're being competitive with it.
Yeah, that's different, that is, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Take it seriously. It's a competition. But I would say, even like in ranked matches, I would still expect people to be a bit chill. And I'm saying this under the assumption that you're a random team. Like, this isn't a group of people that you know and you're going in with a game plan. This is people you've just met on the night, you know? I don't think you can be that serious, and I think you have to accept a semi-serious existence.
You got to, haven't you, I suppose, you know what I mean? Because you don't know those people you're playing with, you know what I mean? If you've got an idea of who you're playing with, you know what I mean, then it's a completely different situation, you know? I used to play on the Xbox with all my friends, like you're on what's it called?
Halo?
The shooter. No. Yeah, Halo, so I used to play on that actually, yeah. It'd be about 15, 20 of us. You know what I mean? On
that's a big old
what's
group.
It called? Not Halo. We used to play on Halo as well. How can I not? This is one of the best FPSs in the game. How can I not? Not Battlefield, the other one.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. How can I forget that, man? I just couldn't.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, one of the best FPS. Yeah, I suppose back then it was. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
But we'd all be on it, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's kind of like we all knew each other then, so it was just kind of free for all. We just run around shooting each other, you know what I mean? And, you know, I remember my cousin Andrew used to be really good at it, and he'd just laugh, and I used to wind you up, him laughing every time he killed you. You know what I mean? And he'd do it on purpose just to pee you off, like, you know what I mean? And he'd be like, and then the more you get angry, and the more he'd laugh, and then he'd kill you again. And it's kind of like...
I do find it interesting that, like, the exact opposite of teamwork and friendship works really well as well. Like, if you want people to get together and have fun and enjoy a game, just make them hate each other, because I don't know what it is when a bunch of gamers just start ripping the crap into each other. 9 times out of 10, everyone's laughing at the end of it.
Yeah, well, it also as well, it gives you that determination, right? I'm determined. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's
You know what I mean?
bringing in
Right. I have to
rivals
get rivalries.
into
Yeah.
all the MMO scenes. I think actually Quake 3 was the first. Well, Quake Arena, Quake Tournament was the first to do it. Where if you get knocked out enough by one person, eventually you just go like rival, and then you knew you had to take that person out.
You need that in the game.
Go on, we'll call it there. So we'll say, yeah, peace out for now. So I'm gonna cut that up a wee bits.
No problem. Take it easy, guys. Speak to you all soon.